Steve Bartle joins us right now. What's up, Portal? How are you?
I'm good, Bill. How are you doing, man? It's
Doing
been a busy couple day and a half or so. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to talking some real football today, some real bona fide football news in action when we get up to camp. Even though we won't be able to watch it, it'll be fun to talk to the players and coaches about it.
Yeah, something new. It'll be nice to have some new discussion, some new football to talk about, to hear about how certain guys are looking, and yeah, it'll be refreshing to have new content to talk about.
So you guys had it. A lot of people were talking about it last night. Manny Bowen, no longer with Utah football, didn't report to camp, and I guess kind of done with football because he doesn't really have any more options. You can't go into the Bartle portal and go someplace else. He's a graduate transfer. I don't think he has that option to do it. So it sounds like Manny Bowen's just done with football right now, Steve.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So it was me, Brian and Cameron, part of our Youth Zone staff. We were actually podcasting last night. We were going to start our podcast, and I got a call right before we were about to start, and that's when I found out, which was right around 6:45, 7 o'clock, somewhere in there, and it sounds like, yeah, he's just done. He doesn't have any recourse here. He can't, like you mentioned, he can't transfer. He can't walk on anywhere else. And, for Utah, it's tough because the timing of it all, they're not able to pivot and turn their attention elsewhere to bring another guy in. They used an initial a roster spot on him, and so they're just kind of stuck with what they have, at linebacker. The timing of it all was just poor, and it's just an unfortunate situation, and is made worse by the timing of it all. Now, with that being said, they'll have fall camp to kind of get Devin Lloyd, who is expected to be the guy to fill in for Bowen. So they'll have time to get everything where they need to be come August 29th. But, yeah, the timing of it all just kind of sucks.
I said it hurts them. It's a loss in that you don't have depth or experience now at that particular position. I don't know that talent is a huge deal because I think Devin Lloyd is very, very talented. He just doesn't have a lot of game reps, and it removes one. Devin Lloyd was your third linebacker. Now you don't really have a third linebacker. To be very fair, Sione Lund's never played the position collegiately. Andrew Mata'afa has never played the position collegiately, and he's skinny as a rail right now. So that's really, to me, where it hurts you. If Francis Bernard and Devin Lloyd stay healthy, I don't think it's a big issue, to be very fair, because I think Devin Lloyd's a very talented linebacker, and with the front in front of him, where it hurts you is a little bit of depth and experience.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it is, it kind of forces Devin Lloyd to step up sooner than what the staff was hoping. He's got to come in. He's got to be the guy, the starter this year, instead of, what they were hoping to do is kind of acclimate into more playing time this year, and then he's the starter next year. But I completely agree with you. I think Devin Lloyd, he's 6'3", 235. I think Bowen was 6'2", 230, 235, someone there. And he's got long arms. He's got a tremendous physical build, good athleticism. He played safety in high school. So, and he's got some ball skills where he can, he made a few interceptions on the high school level that are certainly intriguing in his transition to linebacker. So, if you're looking for something there, and this is also something that we brought up on our Youth Zone podcast last night, is that, if you're looking at this, if you want to spin this, if you want the spin job, you're going from a guy that's been in the program 6 months to a guy that's been in the program for 2 years.
Right.
That's an extra 18 months of time with the coaching staff, an extra 18 months of time in the scheme and understanding the assignments in the totality of the defensive scheme. So, in a way, there's maybe even more familiarity on the field with Devin Lloyd than Manny Bowen. But, yeah, you certainly miss some playmaking instincts that Bowen possessed that you just don't know if Lloyd has or does not have right now because he hasn't played.
Well, Cody Barton sat across from me 2 months ago after he was drafted and before he went to camp and said, Devin Lloyd's going to be the next great linebacker at Utah. Stevenson Sylvester sat in the chair across from me and told me that Devin Lloyd is going to be a great linebacker at the University of Utah, and Gianni Paul on the phone said the same thing a week ago. So that's 3 linebackers from 3 different eras have all said when they've been around him, watched him, been at practice and so on, they think Devin Lloyd's going to be a great Utah linebacker. So that's pretty good support right there for that kid. He just needs to, and he's now got 29 days where he'll be getting all the first-team reps. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It's he and Francis Bernard now getting all the first-team reps at linebacker, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and to add to that, we had a conversation, I can't remember if it was back in spring or if it was in last fall, but we had a conversation with defensive coordinator Morgan Scalley, and we asked him about Devin Lloyd because, he had been talked about in camp reports and that kind of thing. And what he said, this is what he said, Devin Lloyd is going to be a dude. And, Morgan Scalley isn't one to pump up his guys. He's very aware of what he's saying. And when he gives a kid that kind of praise, that kind of endorsement, he's going to be a dude. Like, Utah's got a talent in Devin Lloyd. So there are a lot of guys that are optimistic about Devin Lloyd and his playmaking ability. So, again, the biggest thing that this hurts is depth. You just can't afford injuries. If there are injuries this year, it's going to be tough. It's going to be kind of dicey. So, but yeah, Devin Lloyd, there's a lot of optimism, and Utah fans should be optimistic about his ability on the field.
Just keep him healthy because there's not a lot of depth behind it. Steve Bartle with us from UZone.com here on the Bill Riley Show. I'm curious, have you heard any updates on Big Bam Adele Olaseni? Do you know if he's in Salt Lake City? Is he on campus yet? What have you heard?
No, he's still in Garden City. He's got till Friday, I think. He's working on his grade. It's not that he's working on his, like, he's just got to maintain. He's just got to finish, and he should be good to go on Friday, and then he'll be here this weekend.
Yeah, we'll see. We've heard that story before. I'm a bit more skeptical because I've heard a lot of that before from people. If he gets here, that's great. So for the first few days of practice, Nick Ford's your right tackle.
Yeah, I heard that. I think there's a lot of optimism about Bam and his unique skill set. Like, obviously, he's got to acclimate himself and be sure that he's in condition. But okay, never mind.
No. I'm not saying this about you, Steve. I'm saying it about I'm being old gives you an advantage of having heard this storyline before. They're always optimistic about the guy getting here until he doesn't get here. 2 years ago, Derek Vickers was going to be the greatest kick returner in school history once he got here, and he never got here till last year. So I'm just doing when he gets here, that's great, but until he gets here, he's not here.
Sure. Okay, that's fair.
I'm not questioning his ability or want to be here or any of that stuff, but he's got to get here.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
And then once he gets here, he hasn't been here in spring. He hasn't been here in summer conditioning. He's got to learn Jim Harding's system when he gets here, too. So he's going to be at a disadvantage by not having been here, and he's going to be at a disadvantage by being here 3 or 4 days late, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I think, if you want to set the expectation, my expectation is that Nick Ford is going to be at the right tackle spot, at kickoff on August 29th. And if you want to cross your fingers that Bam picks it up, you're hoping that he's going to be worked into the rotation through the first 3 games, and then potentially later on down the road, he can take over at one of those tackle spots. I think that's kind of what fans should set their expectations for when it comes to Bam, assuming that he does, in fact, make it to Salt Lake City.
That's my thought. Hey, worst case scenario, Nick Ford's your starting right tackle. Best case scenario, Bam Olaseni gets here on Saturday, practices on Monday, picks it up like nobody's business, starts at right tackle, and then you get to move Nick Ford to left tackle, or left guard, I mean.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there.
So to me, best case scenario is Paulo, Ford, Umana, Christensen, and Olaseni. Worst case scenario, then maybe you've got Paulo, Moala, or Tuala, Moala, Alas, Christensen, and Ford as your starting line, and we'll see what happens.
Wait, who's Christensen?
Or Braden Daniel. I don't know why I keep calling him Braden Christensen. Braden Daniels.
I was like, wait, who
Braden Daniels.
Yeah,
Did Braden Christensen play for BYU? Was he an offensive lineman for BYU?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Brady Christensen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, Braden Daniels is your right is your right guard.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm with you there. So Paulo at left tackle. I think there's going to be a battle at left guard between Paul Tawala, Noah Ostermeyers, and then Alex Locklear, who are the grad transfers. You've got Umana at center, and then I'm pretty sure Braden Daniels has that right guard spot locked down. I think there's just some worry about his inexperience, but I think he'll be fine. I think his talent, his physical traits, and that are really, really enticing, on the offensive line and that at offensive guard. So I think he's going to lock down that right guard spot, and then Nick Ford at right tackle. I think he's coming in. He's coming in confident this year. He's going to make a name for himself. I feel like he was my breakout player on offense. I think he's gonna turn some heads this year.
Who's going to be the kicker, Bartle?
Dude, I have no idea. That's a horrible question to ask me. I know specialists are people too, but man, I don't know, man. I think Jaden Redding is going to be the guy. We'll see what the UCLA guy is going to kick, what he's going to look like. But I guess we can't because we can't watch fall camp. This sucks, Bill. I hate that we can't watch fall camp. I just want to watch football.
Well, go get a drone or something and fly it over and put a camera on it. I don't count out this JC kid from Grossmont either. He might have a chance
no, I
too.
Know. Yeah, Nels. God, what's his last name?
Holtum.
It's such a weird combination. Holtum, yeah, Nels Holtum. He's actually from Viewmont, I think, is where he's from. Out of the high school level, from Viewmont here in Bountiful. Went down to Grossmont there in California. He's kicked. Yeah, he's got some potential. So there's going to be a good competition. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Jaden Redding. He was consistent within 40 yards. And I think as long as Whittingham trusts you and you're consistent within a certain yard markage, that's what coaches want more so than anything, is knowing exactly where you're consistent from. And I think that you have that in Jaden Redding. You know that he's going to be reliable from within 40, 42 yards, whatever that may be. But the competition is going to be fierce, man. I don't know. It's going to be crazy. I wish that we could watch it. You brought up a drone. I think the safest place on the field to fly a drone would actually be between the field goal posts if we want to make some jokes. So we'll see. And maybe that's motivation for Whittingham to get his kickers, like hit the drone or something like that. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't want to do that.
Hey, I've got to let you go. The AD's waiting in the wings, and he's a whole lot more important than you.
Hey, give him a big high five, a crisp high five for me. That Arkansas home and home series, that's a tremendous job. Give him a nice high five from Steve Bartle.
I will do that. And, Bartle, I will see you in a few hours.
Sounds good, Bill. We'll see you in a couple hours, man.
Thank you, my man. Steve Bartle from UteZone.com.